Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar organized by Baltic Amadeus. As people are still coming in, let us wait 1 minute more and we will start shortly. I think we are ready to start. Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Robertas. I'm Cloud Business Development Manager in Baltic Amadeus. And today I'm joined by my colleague Tautvydas, Senior Business Intelligence Engineer, who will be the main speaker today, presenting you valuable ideas or answering your questions. Before we begin, let's quickly overview how this webinar will be held. I will start with a brief introduction explaining what is Baltic Amadeus so you could have a better understanding of why we are speaking on today's topic and how does that correlate with our daily business. Continuing the session, I'll give the floor to Tautvydas, who will talk about modern data analytics principles. He will also present customer case study covering facts, problems, implemented solution, and disclosing maintenance cost. Lastly, we will finish with Q&A session. But before that, for those who will stay with us until the end, we will have a special offer. I'm sure this should be very interesting to anyone who's considering modernizing data analytics in your company. So let's jump into the details. Baltic Amadeus is a Lithuanian-based IT company that is in business for 30 years. During that period, we have worked on various projects with customers in Sweden, Norway, Germany, Baltic states, and outside Europe. Currently, we have 200 and plus employees. We provide customer software development services, we do business intelligence solutions, also create omni-channel platforms. When it comes to specific industries, we have experience working with banking and finance, transport and logistics, creating special products for them. This event is organized in cooperation with Microsoft, and we are very grateful and proud to be a part of Microsoft partner ecosystem. At the moment, we have 4 gold competencies that helps us to consult companies and deliver projects successfully. Now, I want you to forget IT or your daily business for a second. Imagine that you have decided to go camping with your family or a couple of friends. Let's say you have chosen to go to the Italian Alps. It's a sunny day in April. You park your car near the visitor center and get ready for the day hike. You've got an entire week ahead. You make your way up on the trail until you reach the summit with the beautiful panorama, with other peaks seeable in the horizon and the tiny villages down in the valleys. But there is one problem. You didn't take a map, you didn't follow the time during the day, you don't have a smartphone or smartwatch that would navigate you back. Suddenly you realize that for quite a long you didn't notice any pedestrian signs on the trail. So you are lost. Oh, and in April, in the evening temperature often falls below freezing. So you probably wouldn't want to go on that trip, right? Unfortunately, that is how many companies begin their business, without tracking and using reliable data for their business decisions. The most successful companies are those ones that are able to leverage the power of data and not get lost in the wilderness of possible decisions. Just like I mentioned with a real life example, the more data parameters you track, which should be healthy of course, the better will be your decisions. But what are the key components for going along that way? In all cases, it starts from 2 core ingredients: technology as an enabler and guidance, someone who could teach you how to use it. With that said, I would like to give over the stage to Tautvydas, who will talk about the specifics and the recommendations.
Hello everyone, my name is Tautvydas. I'm a senior BI engineer in Baltic Amadeus, and today I will talk about modern data analytics using Azure services. So if you would come to me and ask how much it would cost to implement data analytics within your organization, then without any additional information, I would say between 5,000 and 500,000 euros. But this is just too wide, right? It doesn't say anything. Now, the reason behind this is that data analytics has lots of complexity levels. And when we identify the complexity level, then we can give a more precise estimate. So what I would like to do first is to align the understanding of what data analytics is, at least in the scope of this presentation. And to do that, I will use the complexity levels. So let's go through them. So at level 0, we have Excel. Now, this means that the company is using only Excel for their reporting or static reports that are integrated into the source systems. Either way, this means that the data is fully managed manually. At level 1, in addition to Excel, we have a reporting tool. Now, this might be a Power BI, ClickView, or Looker. Uh, However, this reporting tool is still probably connecting to the Excels, which means that it's still very, very inefficient in long terms. At level 2, we have ETL and data warehouse. So in addition to the reporting tool, now, if you're not familiar with this terminology, no worries, we will cover them in just a second. Now, this level is a game changer as it solves most of companies' problems. It acts as a foundation for other complexity levels, and it's a good starting point for any organization. And this is the level that we will be talking throughout our presentation. But before we go to our customer case, let's go quickly through the rest of the levels and see how complex it can get. So at level 3, we have real time. So most often this is related to managing data within real-time messaging queues. At level 4, we have big data. So for some companies, big data starts at 1 terabyte, for others at 1 petabyte. However, it's not about the amount of data, but more about the requirements. That is, how fast the data needs to be processed. At level 5, we have IoT integration. So for example, if you are a manufacturer, probably you have lots of sensors in your factory, and this is where we can integrate data from your sensors into the data lake. At level 6, we have ESB integration. So ESB stands for Enterprise Service Bus, and this is where we integrate data between the source systems or back from the data warehouse into the source systems. At level 7, we have full GDPR compliance. So this is where special products processes are implemented to help reduce the maintenance costs relating to GDPR. At level 8, we have metadata management. So this is where organizations can create their business glossaries, dictionaries, have data lineage and data impact functionalities. And at level 9 and level 10, we have, of course, machine learning and artificial intelligence. And these are the most complex levels that we can get in data analytics. Now, one note about these complexity levels is that the order and the dependency between the levels might be and will be different for different organizations. So this means that you don't necessarily need level 3 real time to implement a level 4 big data level. And of course, it doesn't necessarily mean that ESB integration, which is on level 6 in this slide, is more complex than IoT integration on level 5. However, a level 2, which is reporting tool, ETL, and data warehouse, in most cases is mandatory if you want to go to any other complexity level. And this is the best level to start for any organization. So as mentioned before, we will be talking about level 2 data analytics. So the components for this level is Excel, ETL, data warehouse, and the reporting tool. And so the typical architecture for this for these components are the following. So on the left, we have data sources. We can have as many as we want. In the middle, we have ETL. So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. And it does exactly what it says. So it extracts data from the source systems, transforms, cleans, filters, and enriches data, and then loads it into the database. So into the data warehouse. And data warehouse is basically a database with a dimensional modeling structure. And this particular structure is actually specifically designed for reporting needs, as it keeps the data integrity and speeds up the reporting. And on the right, we have our reporting tool. And as you can see, the reporting tool now takes data directly from the data warehouse and is not connected to the source systems. You can also see that in this architecture, we don't have Excel. So this is our actually main goal, is to remove Excel as a data source from our solution, which means remove as much manual work as possible. Now, when data analytics is essential, many companies try to calculate return of investment for their solutions. However, this is not very easy, as data analytics give lots of future possibilities, which are very hard to evaluate. However, there are some criteria that might help you make a decision. So let's go through them. So number one, reports have data from more than one system. Now, taking data from one system is not difficult. Different data sets within that system are connected, so there should not be any data quality issues. However, the struggle comes when you try to take data from more than one system, and especially when you need to combine it. So this is where you bump into such problems like can't straightforwardly join data, many-to-many relationships, recursive hierarchy structures, etc. Number two, updating data in reports take more than 1 hour per day. Now, this is highly related to taking data out of multiple systems. Usually, there are more than one employee doing more than 1 hour of work per day. And in most cases, this work is duplicated. This leads to duplicated data in various places and formats. So it can be duplicated in emails, personal computers, SharePoints, messaging tools, etc. And this may end up as GDPR issues. So data analytics can reduce manual work by 95%. So same KPI provides different values. Different departments interpret data differently, therefore their KPIs show different values, and this leads to bad decision and miscommunications within management. Now, having a well-structured KPI architecture and good documentation like business glossary helps avoid these issues. You are doing workarounds to achieve specific functionality. Now, if you don't have proper processes and tools, you will end up doing workarounds. And at first, it seems to be working just fine. However, in the long term, these workarounds become very messy and they are hard to maintain, which eventually need to be redesigned. So it is very important to have a correct processes and tools implemented. And high dependency on third-party support. So this mostly happens when internal systems are supported by third parties, and any additional inquiry on data reporting leads to additional development, which usually means weeks of developments and thousands of euros. It is not very efficient. So data analytics solutions provide tools and procedures that allow employees to create reports and update data within minutes. So the more of these problems you have, the more likely you need data analytics. Now, it might be that you are already on level 2 or higher data analytics solution, but still face these problems, which means that probably wrong tools were chosen or best practices were not followed, which is actually the case with our customer that we will talk in just a moment. We had ETL data warehouse and reporting tool already in place. However, it was an on-premise solution without best practices implementation. So what we needed was a data analytics modernization. So now let's go to our customer case and short facts about the project that we implemented. So the scope was 4 countries: Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Iceland. We had 9 data sets. Free data sources, distributor, Salesforce, and manual input. The data amount was not big. It was around 100 gigabytes, and the biggest table contained around 20 million records, and the data load was once per day. So what are the problems that our customer had that initiated this project? So first of all, it had limited functionality. Now, client had an on-premise reporting tool, which was not updated for a long time due to lack of knowledge, time, and resources. Therefore, the tool lacked advanced features and had security issues. Second, no self-service. So client wanted to have a self-service for data reporting, but the outdated tools and poor data design limited users to using only static reports. Low flexibility and scalability. So client wanted to add additional data from additional countries, as well as tools and other functionality. However, that was not a straightforward task due to an old on-premise technology. Complex data management process. So initially, when you build a solution, it seems to be working fine. However, if it's not well designed and it does not follow best practices, then with time, data management processes get complicated. And for this reason, when a client wanted to make data changes, we had to go through a long process of communications to make them. Limited traceability, this is very important, and it's actually related to the design and not related to the tools itself. So the client solution had low visibility on the data processing. So no statistics, no row level logging, no audit logs, no retry checkpoint functionality, etc. All this leads to long hours of investigations and miscommunication and frustration also from the developers. Lots of manual work. Now, all data analytics solutions have data which needs to be managed manually, like hierarchy assignments or attribute corrections. So customer business users did not have a tool to do that. Therefore, they continuously need to ask either IT or third party to modify data directly in the database. And this leads to miscommunications, extra cost, and long delays. Poor performance, so due to lack of best practices of dimensional modeling, data warehouse was poorly built, which led to poor performance on data loading and report execution. And of course, the high maintenance cost. So as the tools and solution was not in good shape, troubleshooting issues took a lot of time before increasing bills from third party. And also the licensing cost was not optimal considering the small size of the solution scope. So what we did for our client was a full Azure cloud solution. And the architecture is very simple and it looks like the level 2 data analytics architecture showed previously. So on the left, we have two external data sources. They are managed by third party. And these data sources place incremental files to companies' SFTP server, from which our ETL tool, which is Data Factory, takes the data, transforms and loads into Azure SQL database, which is our data warehouse. And then our reporting tool, which is Power BI, takes data from the data warehouse, aggregates and shows it to the users. And in this solution, we have two additional products. So one of them is Power Apps. So this acts as an user interface for data management. This is where users connect and update hierarchies and various attributes. And then we have Logic Apps, which was used as a notification service in the solution. However, this app has endless possibilities as it has more than 400 connectors. So now let's go through each of the products and see how they helped our customer solve its issues. So let's begin from Azure Data Factory. And for every product, we will show a short looped videos just for you to have a better look and feel on what the product is all about. You'll notice that every product will have a web-based user interface with an exception of SQL Management Studio. So you can easily develop and test and publish your solutions from any device. So for a data factory here, you see a order processing pipeline, which consists of multiple activities connected with each other based on certain criteria. Now, development is done using drag, drop, and configure principle, and you can develop, test, and publish easily within the same interface. So let's see how Azure Data Factory helped our clients solve some of its issues. So first of all, it's fully managed by Azure. Now this feature applies to all Azure products. So I will mention it once and will not repeat for other products. So managed by Azure means that the client does not have to do any installation, any advanced configuration, no patching or upgrading, and no infrastructure management. And also, all Azure products are continuously improved. Therefore, client gets new features automatically and for free, thus increasing solutions functionality. Low-code development. So again, this is an improvement on maintenance costs. Azure Data Factory works as a drag and drop principle, so no coding is required. Therefore, it's much easier to support and create new functionality. And it's consumption-based. It has consumption-based pricing. So this is a direct impact on maintenance costs. For example, it takes around 10 minutes for our client to load data, which means that they will pay only for 10 minutes each day. And you'll see that it's very cheap later on. Okay, so let's move to Azure SQL Database. I'm sure you're all familiar with this product, as it's very similar to on-premise SQL Server. What you can see here is lots of relationships between the tables. Each table has a surrogate, foreign, unique, and index keys. So this helps keep data integrity and also speed up data reporting. Now, data warehouse might have multiple sections like temporary, staging, configuration, and logging areas. Reporting tool is connecting to a intermediate layer, which is SQL views, and this is required to decouple reporting tools from physical tables. Now, what are the advantages of SQL database? So first of all, and most importantly, it has automatic scaling. So this means that Azure SQL database automatically increases and decreases resources based on real-time usage. And this helps clients to keep the same query performance during peak periods and reduce costs during non-working hours. Estimatable and manageable costs. So not only Azure forecasts costs for all of its products, but also it lets you tweak on how fast or cheap your resources should run. So thus giving our client more control. For example, after data is loaded into data warehouse, Power BI takes aggregated data and puts it in its memory. From that point, database is not needed anymore, at least from the for the reporting purposes. So because users can, of course, connect to Power BI and use its cache data. And this greatly increases the running cost, decreases the running cost of SQL database because you can pause the database and you will not pay anything until you resume it the next day. And just by having a separate storage for your data, it enables many functionalities. So first of all, your source systems will be faster because now your reporting tool is not connecting directly to them. Sorry, your reports will be fast and your queries will be faster because now you will be using the best practices of dimensional modeling. Your historical data you'll be able to preserve historical data and analyze it based on time. You would not be able to do that if you would be connecting directly to your data sources. Your data warehouse now becomes a single point of truth. Therefore, your users now will always know where to go and look for high quality data. And of course, it increases traceability, as now our client can log every event on a record level. So next we have Power BI. And what you can see here, of course, are not our client reports because obviously we cannot show them, but these are the demo reports that we usually show for our potential clients. So navigation in Power BI is very responsive because, as mentioned before, it can cache most of the data from the data warehouse. All graphics are live and linked together. So you can, so if you change something in one place, it automatically changes in corresponding places. Users can freely change filtering, graphics, add or remove new elements, and then share them with their colleagues. Now, what are the features of Power BI? So first of all, and most importantly, the flexible pricing model. So price per user for Power BI is probably the lowest on the market, and it has the most advanced features on the market. So this gives Power BI the best feature price ratio. And with recently released premium per user option, this brings this ratio even to the next level. Visualization market. Now, this is a very cool feature where communities can create report templates and publish for others to use for free. This greatly increases report creation and helps build fantastic dashboards. Ad hoc reporting. So Power BI has a very powerful self-service where you can create and share content with other users. And also, remember when I said that we want to remove Excel from our data analytics solution? Well, this is where it comes back, but not as a data source, but as a reporting tool that connects directly to Power BI and has a similar reporting report building capabilities as Power BI itself. And Power BI has the biggest community, which means that if you face any problems, you can make sure that the solution is probably already solved out there on the web. And YouTube is packed with video tutorials and channels dedicated to Power BI, so users can do advanced stuff very, very fast. Next, we have our Power Apps. So remember, this is the tool where users can connect and modify the data directly into their data warehouse. So it uses a drag and drop principle. So it's very easy for business users, even for business users, to create various forms for data modifications. This is where users can control their master data within data warehouse. And every change is audited. Therefore, in case of a mistake is done, the data can be easily restored. So let's look at Power Apps features. Um, so it enables business participation, and this was one of the biggest client problems, because for every small data change we had to contact third party. The communication was complex, leading to errors and long delays. But with Power Apps, now users can create, update, and delete the data by themselves with a web interface that is accessible from any device. This means that the changes go to production much faster, cheaper, and we have more control over them. Again, low-code development. So this means that not only IT personnel, but also business users can create their own apps with very, very little training. And it integrates with Logic Apps and Power BI. So this opens up many new possibilities and process automation possibilities, thus increasing solutions functionality. And finally, Logic Apps. This is a great addition to Data Factory. So the main purpose, of course, is to orchestrate and automate processes. In this short video, you can see how to create an app which sends email based on its content, on the content that is received. So it takes around 2 minutes to create, publish, and test the app. Development is very intuitive. It has auto suggestions, autofill, and dynamic content on every step. So let's look at Logic App's features. So it can, of course, automate processes. So if a process can be initiated programmatically, then Logic Apps can do that, which means that now users have more time for analytics. It also increases reaction time because now users get instant notifications on certain events. For example, when Azure Data Factory loads data, Logic Apps evaluates if there are new customers without hierarchies. And if so, it sends email to responsible person with list of customers and a link to Power Apps where they can assign the hierarchy. It takes around 2 minutes for them to update the data directly in production. And Logic Apps can be usage-based. This means that you are billed per execution, which is ridiculously cheap, as you will see in just a moment. So the fun part, so let's go through the costs. We'll divide costs per application, and these costs are real. They are taken from our customer from one of the previous months. So let's start with Logic Apps. So Logic Apps cost only 4 cents per month as it's based on execution. Then we have Power Apps. So Power Apps costs only 15 euros per month. Power Apps license is per user. So our client has 3 users who manage data, and for them at this moment is fully enough. Then we have Azure Data Factory. Again, it's priced per usage, so they pay only 25 euros per month. Power BI, again, the license is per user. At the moment, we have 3 main users who are using reports. So one user is approximately 8 euros per month. And we have Azure SQL Database. So it's the most expensive tool, costing 187 euros per month. However, it gives the most advantages to the solution and is a must in every data analytics solution. And we have a support. So usually we need only a couple of hours of support for the solution because all Azure products are highly reliable. We hadn't have a single failure over the year now due to Azure products. The only failures that we do get are because of the data sources or, let's say, networking issues from the client side. So in total, we have 454 euros per month for the whole solution. And keep in mind that this includes license cost, infrastructure cost, maintenance cost, and running costs. So I think it's pretty cheap. So to recap, first of all, solution never gets old. And I see this as a fun fact because not only this technology doesn't get outdated, but it gets better within each month. And you get all this for free without any work involved. For example, Power BI has a monthly releases, which include various new advanced features. So all you need to know is all you need to do is to subscribe to these update notifications, and you can utilize these features straight away in your solutions. Many current and future possibilities. So using modern Azure products to implement data analytics solutions allow organizations to receive benefits straight away. but most importantly is that it builds a strong foundation for more complex levels as the organization's data gets more complex over time. Low code development. So not only it makes IT developers more effective, but it also gives more freedom, as now these developments can be shared with business users as well. And of course, most important thing for any organization is low cost management. And as you saw from the cost slide, it's really cheap to maintain the solution comparing to the functionality and possibilities that you get. That's it from my side. Now I'm giving microphone back to Robertus.
All right, thank you, Tautvdas. That was a great presentation and valuable insights. We will continue with Q&A soon, but before that, I would like to elaborate on the special offer that I promised you at the beginning. So we have a service called BI and Warehouse Assessment. You can find it on the Azure Marketplace. It is accessible for everyone who wants to get an expert support modernizing their data reporting solutions. During the service delivery, we analyze business requirements, system and data, and then recommend the most suitable data warehouse and Power BI solution running on Azure native platform. The service takes approximately 4 weeks and costs 3,700 euros. So today we offer free analysis with 90% discount to everyone who is participating in this event. So if you are interested or you want to learn more, please click the link we share with you and then press contact me. Also, you can reach out to me directly via email. So this is a really great opportunity to get a professional support now.